During the judges' deliberation, I'd like to introduce a guest of the Entrepreneur Challenge, also the Clean Tech winner from 2011. Please join me in welcoming Thomas Del Monte from Interra Energy. Great. Thomas is going to provide us with an update of where Interra is since its winning last 2 years ago.
Okay. Testing. Is that good? Test, test. Okay, so thank you guys for having me back. I know not many of you recognize me, but for those of you who were here, my company, here's a little refresher on it and what we've been doing since participating in this competition and being somewhat successful in going to the finals twice and picking up third place the second time and winning the Clean Tech both times. But so my company's Interra Energy, and what our company does is we talk about it in terms of food, energy, future. We are building a solution that solves several problems associated with those three very important concepts for our society. And let me take you through kind of what we do. So we're building a system that's in the middle of this little ecosystem. It basically takes biomass waste, and which is a waste product that usually will go into landfills or go into composting piles and then into landfills. And we make use of it in a lot better ways than it's currently being used. What our technology does is it converts it into a flammable gas to make renewable electricity. We can make it cheaper than solar, wind, or any other biomass plant around here. And that's partially, or largely due to the fact that we make a co-product that is, it's called biochar. It is a carbon product, kind of like Broltex, but a little less fancy, but similarly as good for the environment. And what it is it's basically charcoal that is made for agricultural purposes. And what it does is you put it into the soil, and it helps the plants grow better. And it also, because it's almost 85% pure carbon, it basically traps in the soil what carbon the plants, when they were growing, took out of the air. So it's a very virtuous cycle of enhancing soil, growing more trees, more plants, more food, and then making more energy, and then starting the cycle over again. So, and because it's a business competition, in addition to the virtues of this cycle for the environment, for the company, it has a lot of great things too. So we can get disposal fees from the people who are dropping off at our facility, which is significant revenue. Many companies make their entire businesses off of that. We also sell the power back to the grid. We'll make about enough power to feed about 2,000 California homes per plant, and we hope to have 7 up in the next 5 years. And this is where the major source of income comes from. It's about 10 times more valuable than if we were just to make electricity with the energy that's stored in that carbon. So it's a no-brainer in terms of making it. And then there's soil enhancement products and carbon credits that are potentially available. So it has a tremendous potential. We finally have reached some attraction point in our company when we got notice that we were chosen to receive a California energy grant large enough to fund the entire build of our first system. And so we're going to be building down a national city and going gangbusters over the next few years to build this company up into a brand you recognize. So this is the technology. It's a brief look. I won't go into it too much, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And all of this portion is what we design. It's one of those things that one of the contestants said that there's nothing worse than being only 10% better than your competitors. We agree with that statement. And in the amount of capital that we're going to take to build this first unit, we'll be able to produce or make a machine that produces twice the amount of energy and 12 times the amount of biochar than the next competitor out there. So it's pretty monumental step forward and a significant competitive advantage. Yeah, so we're doing our patents. We are doing and still kind of waiting on a couple of things from that office, but we're very secure in our understanding of what else is out there and what our innovation is, and are excited to get that finalized. But we're mostly excited about building down in National City right now, and there's some pictures from the yard where we're building it, and some of our welders and foremen there. So with that, I'd love to answer any questions that anybody might have, whether it be about this company, starting up companies, or participating in the EChallenge. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
This is a very serious assembly here. How much money does it cost to be very first?
Well, it's actually about $500,000 in parts, and then another half in building and labor. So it's very little in comparison to most capital projects. It's about as long as this room is wide in terms of scale. Yes, sir. Well, it's kind of an interesting metric to use because we can give away the electricity if we want because we're making enough on the biochar to justify it. We're not going to, at least initially. But what happens is we consider the electricity and potential for tipping fees is what's going to cover all of the operational expenses, and operations and maintenance, and then the biochar is just basically all gravy. Biggest revenue stream. So it makes about the system is expected to produce about 8 million pounds a year. That's dry. It'll be about 1.3 megawatts, and then a third of that is used on site. So net export about 1. Yes, sir.
Are you truly zero waste?
Yes. Well, we'll have waste delivered to us. It will come in the green waste, and that's a biological source, but then there will be some plastics and things like that that will come in with it, which will be taken out, which will then go to landfill or recycling center, but it wasn't ours to begin with. And all the gas that comes out of it is used to make power, so, and then all the char and any sort of minerals that came in with the biomass will still be in the char when it comes out. Respect.
Have you been in city waste collection contracts, or have you been doing this on an ad hoc basis?
Well, we're actually working on the building of the first unit right now, so we haven't needed a contract like that. We've talked to plenty of suppliers, and our strategy is just offer half the price and a closer place to drop it off. If we don't get immediate subscription of all of our needs, we would then do a little bit more advertising to yard maintenance teams and right-of-way clearing companies. Yeah, well, there's a lot of welders in National City. That's why. And actually, we were fortunate enough to get a basically an angel philanthropist who owns a welding shop down there, who basically took us under his wing and has been helping us by storing our equipment there, welding together a lot of our parts, so that's where our partner is. So that's where we'll be for at least the testing period of the grant, and then we're moving elsewhere for permanent location. Sir?
How long is the market for biochar? How much is that for one plant supply?
Biochar itself is a fairly nascent market, but it's rapidly growing. It's last figure I saw was $500,000 a year, so not a tremendous amount because there's not a lot of people producing it. The thing is, though, we actually have a letter of intent with a water municipality water project construction firm that then services all of those municipalities' projects with activated carbon. And they're interested in using our biochar for water cleanup, and that's the largest market. That's like $500 million in North America, and globally, I think it's more around like $4 billion, and it's growing. Water's getting more valuable, and a lot more waste treatment options for it are out there. That's a stupid question. Yeah, that's a fun one. So I actually thought of this idea while I was in law school. So I am a trained attorney, and designed this plant to be under all of the major regulatory hurdles that you encounter when building a plant like this. So it's kind of a unique aspect of this plant. So we don't need all of our permits, other than potentially an air permit, which we don't think we'll have a problem getting, are what's called ministerial, meaning they basically, if you fill in the paperwork and pay your fees, they'll stamp it within a certain amount of time. So it should be very quick, should be able to pump them out in National City and put them everywhere. Sure. I could kind of take you through the history. I'm not at 10 years yet, but I'm pushing 5. So and hopefully we'll become that overnight success next year. So as I mentioned, I started in law school, and it was kind of a biochar was for the idea of doing this as a climate solution was becoming important. A lot of universities were starting to pay attention to it, and I was doing energy policy at the time and stumbled across it in research and tucked it away as an idea that I thought was really interesting because I always did want to be in more business and legal type of atmosphere, and so I then just basically started putting together ideas about what other technologies were out there, and whether I could go to start a company just associated with biochar and using somebody else's technology. Didn't find one ready for prime time, and so I set out to becoming a quasi-engineer, and just read everything I could, and designed a system that I think will be pretty special. In terms of bringing a team together, I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by a lot of very talented and incredibly bright individuals. My business partner is actually in the audience, or Kenny. We've been using a lot of interns for lack of funding. Kenny actually started as an intern. Now he's my business partner. You do struggle as an entrepreneur. It's one of the things you have to be ready for, but you do have to believe. And if you have the willpower to and the belief in yourself and the idea that you're pushing forward, as long as you stick with it, you can make something happen. I've heard a great quote about startups that they actually never fail. It's just that the founders give up, and that kind of rang true for me because our story is a long and arduous one with this economy, and but it's finally actually getting its wings, and we look forward to making what we hope to be one of the next great American companies with Interra. Any other questions? Sounds like the judges are getting close. Are they arm wrestling over the final votes? Okay. Yes, sir. Hey, good. Barrett? Yeah.
So you've done both the investment issue and the applying for grants route.
Yeah. Yeah. We felt that we had a lot of difficulty in the San Diego region just because of it has more of a focus on like biotech and things other than we've been called a dirt company and things like that, and sometimes people get a little scared away of what they see as a massive capital expenditure, but it's one of those things that we have been able to pull together a little bit from all the different places, and it really is one of those things you just have to try all the different options available to you. The good thing about grants is they have to read it, and if your idea is compelling enough, and particularly worked well for us because they didn't have a page limit for this one that we got, and we submitted a 215-page grant application where I actually missed the deadline to ship it overnight, so I flew it up the next morning to Sacramento, and so it was it's a process in and of itself, but it's one good, the grant side of things at least, it's one really great way to get some validation for your idea from an agency that's what they do, from experts from that agency, basically know everybody who's doing what we're doing, and we're really excited. We got the top highest score for our grant application by a wide margin, so we were very excited. So I hope that gives you some insight there. Yeah.
I'd like to thank
Thanks, guys.
Thomas for his time.